All right, so I've already undraped this client's back. We've already talked about hot towels, what we're going to be doing, what we're not going to be doing, all those types of things. One of the big things that needs to happen, especially if you have a room to cross to get your hot towels, for instance, or whatever the risk is, for whatever reason your hot towels are not directly right by you or underneath your table. I always like to let the client know, especially since I'm breaking contact with them, that I'm going to get hot towels, so that they know when I come back, they know two things. When I'm leaving and when I come back, that I will have some hot towels in my hands that are going to go onto them. That way they're not surprised so much. There's not a jump, it doesn't break relaxation, all those types of things. So I'm going to grab the towels. I'm going to grab the towels real quick, okay? Alright, so towel size is another thing. Typically, I use 2 towels on the back. One to cover from the thoracic region up to the cervical region, and one specifically like a lumbar roll on the back. I like to have it a little thicker there so I can press. One of the big things with heat therapies is compression. So there's just a thicker pad to press into in the low back, especially since there's deep musculature there. It usually helps a lot. These towels happen to be a little larger, so I won't need 2. Oftentimes therapists will also put another dry towel over. And that's another thing. When you're using hot towels, you want the towels to be damp, not dripping wet, but damp. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll one of these towels off onto her back. Again, these towels are much larger than I typically use. And a rule of thumb, if the towels are too hot for you to hold for a couple seconds, they're too hot to go on the client. As well as listen to the client, ask them, is this too hot? Do I need to take it off and cool it down a bit for you? So please let me know if this is too hot, okay? Is that okay?
Yes.
I personally do not use a top dry towel. A lot of the big reason for that is a lot of therapists will do these hot towel compressions, and then they will use the draping to cover the towels back up and leave the towels on the client for the duration that they're prone, just to let a little deep heat set. I have personally found that the heat doesn't last too long once you're done with compressions. So in my experience, at the end of it, they have damp, cool towels on them, which may or may not be good. But again, this is just my method and my experience. If you find that it works well for you to leave them on, please do so. Right now I'm just doing light compression, and my pressure is not so much down as it is out or cross. I'm going to do a lot of downward pressure with the type of massage that I will be doing on this client, so I don't necessarily want to really dig into the tissues quite yet, especially since right now all I'm doing is relaxing everything right now. Another thing to consider is when you do hot towels. A lot of massage therapists do this right as soon as they undrape the back. They put the hot towels on, they find that it relaxes the tissues well before they ever get to touch them without the towels, which may be good. And some therapists do it after they've done the work on the back to kind of further deeply relax the tissues. Again, that's one of your preferences. You may choose to do however you want. Once I feel this towel starting to get a little bit cool on my hands, I know it's probably getting a little bit cool for her. So what I'll do is, since I have 2 towels, I'll take this one off and use the other one specifically for her low back. Again, this is just my technique and how this is working out in the moment. A lot of people like to have set routines on how they do things. I personally don't. I like to use what I have on hand, what works for the person in the moment when I find these things and how I'm communicating with the client. You still doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Again, I'm not directly over using my body mechanics to exert force because my force isn't going down, it's going out. I'm separating my palms slowly towards her lateral edges. If you do this slow enough, you can feel the tissues relax underneath your palms. This is a good thing to note, especially if you're going to do the work after the towels, so you can note where things loosened up, where things remain tight, just palpable notes you can take while you're doing this. You can also be asking your client if there's any spots that they're feeling while you're doing this that are particularly tight or tender. Do you have anything like that?
No.
No? Good. All right. Like I said, I don't like to leave the towels on the client because I find after a while they get cool anyway. I know that covering them back up with a drape and a dry towel may mitigate that to an extent. But another thing about that is that for me, you have to then go back and undrape them and take the towels off, and that's a whole process that may break the relaxation cycle that you've been trying to build. If this is like a therapeutic massage, if that's not so much of a big deal, then sure, why not? Again, that's just my preference. If you find that leaving the towels on there helps your clients more, do so. Alright. I will make sure that now that the towel's off of her, she's going to get cold because it was hot and now it's cold air on it. So I'm going to cover her back up to make sure that she stays warm. And then we're going to pause while I move down to the feet.